forcing there's some different kind of hierarchy in the knowledge, and I think it's also the kind of the other side of the coin will be the Western fantasy of exotic indigenous knowledge, especially those that can fantasize, sometimes fantasize Chinese, sometimes fantasize Indian, sometimes Indian knowledge, sometimes fantasize Mexican, Latin American knowledge. To that extent, we enforce another form of Orientalism. And how to deal with this kind of problematic issue in a more holistic manner that has the power to resist. And perhaps the second question will be, I think this will also link into the other issue of the racialization of knowledge, and using that example is this space will be assumed you're doing something related to China or Chinese, and so even using this space to look at Southeast Asia will be okay. Let's do about the Southeast Asian Chinese population. That I think there is many of this approach is really problematic.
Well, how do you stop that? Right? You were asking.
Yeah.
See, that kind of problem is not something that individuals can do anything about. Of course, at an individual level, you can resist it yourself, right? But how do you stop the practice in general? It requires organization. And this is where we are powerless. The most we can do is to keep talking about it and to encourage our university administrators, but really the change has to come from university administrators. So part of the problem is that we feel we have to go abroad to study. Well, going abroad is good, but the thing is we have to go to America or to the UK, and it's not good to go to other places because your job prospects will be affected. Right? So, I mean, I'll tell you frankly, if you have a PhD from Singapore, you find it a hard time getting a top position, a position in a top university in Singapore. The PhD from Taiwan would be difficult. You need to have a PhD from LSE or University of California or Michigan or something like that. This is the problem that we have. And this is the problem with our ministers of education and our university administrators. Because if they stop thinking in that way, then we would have a lot of people hired for jobs at the National University of Singapore with PhDs from Taiwan, with PhDs from Brunei, with PhDs from Latin America, and so on and so forth, which would make our experience all the more culturally richer, right? Yeah. So I'm also pessimistic about that. In a sense, our own institutions are part of the problem, right? Yeah.
So, any comment or question?
Well, thank you
You're going to be very quiet today.
Okay, I have 2 cups of coffee. Yeah. Thank you for your thought on the subject.
You're a sociologist, right?
Sociologist. Yeah,
Social
right.
thought and philosophy.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's not empirical sociology
Right.
per se.
Yeah.
This is a subject that clear in our institute frequently discussed because we have many scholars from Europe and other places. So many issues are quite familiar, and I can agree with your observation almost on all points. So maybe I just have a supplementary comment. First, probably I'm not that pessimistic like you, because in 21st century, it's probably the first century since 15th century. that this world no longer revolving around Europe. The European thought, its impact and influence are so powerful in the past 2 centuries, until 20th century. But in my observation, that's no longer now. And look in other words, for example, like Africa. Africa in 21st century is the first century of post-segregation, post-slavery, post-segregation, post-colonial, and post-continents. So at this moment, I just wonder how worried should we continue to hold on this kind of issue. Telling an episode, I'm traveling around India in 2012, and then one day there's a heading on the newspaper saying that now we have 65 years since independence, or since independence. So the post-colonial mentality maybe should have retired 65 years. Yeah. This is an interesting comment, and okay. After this comment, I would say that I would agree with you. Our institution, our universities, sociology, not to say all the concept, even society. The concept of society are European concept that translated into by the Japanese to Chinese. So nations, freedom, liberty, or something like that. Yeah. But in this kind of enterprise of anti-Eurocentrism, and in here we call it indigenization of social science, or Sinonization of social science. We have this kind of enterprise since 1980s, professed by our teachers or something. But then we find out these professors or these kind of priests of anti-European, anti-Eurocentrism or anti-Western or something is a very interesting group, because they are thoroughly educated in Europe or Euro-American or something like that. So they hold a credential to make differentiation and telling you which ones we should avoid. So that's one thing. And we have some more thorough. For me, I think that our knowledge structure has a more thorough, pragmatical way. Is that, for example, our academic telling about the literature, we have a division of every literature discipline department. You have Chinese literature and Western literature. 中国文学、西洋文学. In every of philosophy, you have Chinese philosophy and Western philosophy. In every art, you have Chinese art and Western art. So this, I reflect on this almost at my age of 50, and I find this formed a world which is so, porous or lack of anything else to define our world, like Chinese and Western. And so we don't have Africa, we don't have India, we don't have that. And then we find that our arguments are always devoted to the pivotal to like Chinese and Western arguments against them. We devote all our energy in this kind of debate, Chinese Western. But then I find in Islamic world, they have all their energy devoted to the Islamic and Christian or Christian Western. For example, like Alatas and Michael Waza and later Judy Butler have discussed about this kind of blasphemy and freedom of speech or enlightenment or critique, whether critique is secular or not. All through this kind of debate, I'm so curious about their debate, the issue debate, but I find no place or no attention to how about Chinese society, how historically fit in your arguments. And then in Africa, you have, of course, the Afrocentric discourse directly react to, of course, we understand the Eurocentric position. But then they developed, similar upside down of Aryan model, which is maybe Egyptian model or something like that, in a very reversed way of Eurocentric thinking. So at this moment, I think maybe something we can escape this kind of people, to these kind of things, and then at these our new centuries, just have our relationship with, for example, China with Africa, China with the Middle East, or India or something like that. Because 5 or 6 centuries ago, for example, like this Arabian Ocean and to the South China Sea, there's a prosperous trading relationships without the Western. Without Western.
Yeah.
So today, maybe we can, in knowledge and intellectually, we can have more direct contact with each other. My comment is finished. Yeah.
No, this is exactly what we should do. But again, the problem are the administrators. You see, for example, when I travel to Middle East, people always ask me, can we have an agreement with your university? Can we have exchange of students, exchange of scholars? And I don't know what to tell them. I can't tell them that my university is not interested because you are not a highly ranked university. Right? So people from NUS don't want to go.
Is very interesting.
I was from the 7th floor.
From where?
I was from the 7th floor of AS8.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think I've seen you, right? You look very familiar. Yeah. Are you from Taiwan?
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, okay. So,
I was from the 7th floor. I know.
we can't have meaningful relations at the institutional level because our institution is not interested. We have to have relations with top universities around the world, not with medium or mediocre universities in the Middle East. Even in Indonesia, I go very often to Indonesia, and they want to have this exchange and that exchange. I can't agree because I can do things on an individual level with them, but to have an MOU and to have exchange, nobody from, very, very few people from NUS want to go and spend 3 months or 1 semester teaching in Indonesia or teaching in Turkish university or something like that. They want to go to the UK or they want to go to the US or Canada or Australia or something like that. So if the administrators leave us alone and don't bother us with ranking and all these things, then the world is available to us, right? Like if the president of your university said, if you go and spend 1 semester or 1 year in Tehran University, very good for you. We'll reward you, right? You want to have ties with Iranian universities. We want to have ties with this and that. So then we will start to explore the whole world. But I'm pessimistic because I don't see that change coming.
I can see the change already happened in the past quarter century.
Yeah.
Because back to 25 years ago, see how heavily American scholars present. Every conference, every lectures, 85% of them may be American or European scholars.
Yeah.
But in recent years, the proportion is less and less, maybe less than a quarter. So we have already have a much more scholar directly exchanging.
Here,
Here, yeah.
not everywhere. So I still want to raise a question. I'm actually very concerned about the issue of colonization, the concept of this colonial. And we know that it is not simply a foreign regime, over a local regime. That colonization, we could understand it as a domination of one group of people over the other group of people in the same society. So apparently, colonization happens oftentimes from within. Right? So when we want to do decolonization, we need to do decolonization project from within. That is just maybe move back to your concern with the language or with the use of words. For example, the land and sea or nomadic or the settled. But that is a historical term for a certain period of time. Etymologically, those use of words, they will transform from the society, the village or the community or the small state to a large state throughout hundreds of years. So even in Arabic language or Chinese or Malay or mixed Malaysian language, there are different moments and they have different use of words. So going back to the use of words of certain historical moments, they now help us to solve our contemporary conditions. Okay. Not to mention that all these words, they can be put into discourse. That is why Foucault is,